Well, first game back in the Kohl Center in a month. The Wisconsin Badgers, they beat Indiana 91-78, dropped another 90 bomb this season. This one was an intriguing win for the Badgers, one where they started slow for the second consecutive game, went down 8-3. The bench unit came in though, and they provided a big boost. Ultimately gave Wisconsin the lead 13-12. They didn't look back after that. Had a nice first half lead, and then in the second half when they were up 10, Indiana trying to close in, but Max Klesmit was the difference maker. Had 20 consecutive points, ended with 26, just one under his career high of 27, but 26 is the most in his Badgers career. Wisconsin ultimately wins 91-78. Let's talk about some takeaways. I mean, first of all, you gotta point out what Max Klesmit's doing. The last 4 games, Klesmit shot the ball at a 68% rate. And he shot the ball at 3 even better. Hit 14 of his last 23s. He's been doing really, really good for the Badgers here as of late. And this is the difference between last year and this year. When you talk about the Badgers, they're deeper. They're just ultimately deeper, and that allows them to, you have a couple of guys who can get buckets. It allows them to create a lot offensively. And I think that when you talk about it in that regard, that's why they've been able to score over 70 points in several games, over 80 points in a few games as well, and 90 points today. Now, their defense has to improve. If you're talking about their defense, the Badgers allowed Indiana to shoot over 50% of the field, about 54%. Malik Reneau, a guy who's made a huge jump in his sophomore year, had 28 points, shot 12 of 21 from the field. Seemed like they could have doubled him at times, especially given the way that this game was going down low for Reneau, but the Badgers ultimately didn't, and now they got to improve a little bit in that regard, especially in the second half. But that's the thing. When you score a lot of points, the defense, it can become lackadaisical, but it ultimately didn't matter in this one. Other takeaways, I mean, you're looking at Steven Crowl continue to have an ascension as a big man passer. He had a lot of assists today, and a lot of them ended up going, those 3-pointers that the Badgers hit, they were shooting really well, 48% from 3. A lot of them came from assists from Steven Crowl. Also found a cutter in AJ Storr on a nice pass. Crowl has really excelled this season at working around the double team. Last year, early on, as he faced more doubles, being the premier guy and down low, he struggled a bit to start, but now he's kind of getting that, getting that right. And overall, this team is gelling together at the right time. I know they're probably going to drop a spot, maybe or 2. We'll see what happens after their loss to Penn State, where they struggle defensively. But this is a good team. As I said at the beginning of the season, I think this is a top 15-20 team, and I might be even underscoring them. We'll see how it goes. But the Badgers, they finish up this week 1-1. They are now on the road to Minnesota, and then they play at home Michigan State in a stripe-out game next Friday. Stay tuned for all the coverage. We're back in Madison, and this one's going to be a fun one, a fun season. And this one was a very fun game to watch. We'll see what happens next week.